Hello everybody, Loyalty for Life here, bringing guys a brand new video. So, it's been a while since I've done one of these VJUMP video, like, leaked discussion things, where, you know, I just go over what's been leaked over at VJUMP and everything. Partly because there's been so many people who do it, and, like, you know, everybody does it, so I kind of feel like, I don't know, I was just another drop in the bucket. But, hey, there's some cool stuff in here that I really want to talk about. So, first and foremost, let's get a look at the promo for, I believe, this is either the current VJUMP or next month's VJUMP, I don't know. It's Rogovin to Mion. As you guys know, the Edamion structure deck is, I believe, just about to come out, if it hasn't already, in Japan. And there's a lot of hype around that structure deck. I personally haven't had any time to play test it or anything, so I have no idea if it really is as good as people are saying. But, it does look pretty cool. Rogovin to Mion, though, I'm not sure if anybody's going to play. So this is not going to be a first reaction, by the way. I've looked at everything here. So, Rogovin to Mion, he's a level 3 fire spellcaster effect monster. Attack 1500, defense 200. I love it that he's a fire with 200 defense, which means technically you could play Rekindling, but I don't know if you would. I mean, his effect is on normal or special, so that is kind of cool. So basically, his effect is as follows. You can only use each of the first and second effects with him, with his name, and only once that turn. If this card is normal or specimen, place a spell counter on it. Kind of weird how that is a hard once per turn on that, so even if you do summon multiples, they don't all get spell counters right then and there. You can remove one spell counter from this card, then discard a spellcaster monster, set one continuous spell directly from your deck, and if you do, you cannot activate cards or the effects of cards with that name for the rest of the turn. So, you gotta ditch a spell counter off of him, discard a spellcaster, and then get a continuous spell that you can't even use until the next turn. I'm not entirely a fan of this. Okay, you gotta discard a spellcaster, which isn't the worst thing in the world, thanks to stuff like, for instance, the Mythical Beast. Ah, crap, what was it thing? Medusa, I think, is the one that you can pop it from the spell trap card. I mean, the Pendulum Zone to special summon a spellcaster that you can put a spell counter on. So then, like, with that, oh wow, what's this? I don't know. Go away. There we go. So, you could discard, like, I don't know, Master Cerberus, set a continuous spell, and then activate Medusa. Medusa effect, pop, special summon, from graveyard, which I guess is kind of cool, but again, I feel like there's better ways to go about doing it. And the continuous spell you can't use, and that's my biggest issue. If you could use the spell, I'd be much less apprehensive for this. Now, that being said, there are other decks that you could possibly use this in that need to get to, like, a continuous spell or something. You could possibly, if Malefics ever get a spellcaster, you could use this in Malefics, or you could discard something that is a spellcaster for that. And then there's you could use this in, like, Toons as well to, like, get your Toon World. But, well, you got Toon Kingdom. But I guess if Terraforming ever gets hit to 1, yeah, it could be usable. So I'm very iffy on this card. I'm sure there's somebody who's broken it, but I don't know. Moving on, we got Fortune Fairies. I never thought I'd see the day that this deck gets printed. I've liked playing them on, like, the Tag Force games and stuff, but the games, the deck has never been particularly great because in the anime, they were all normal monsters. The Fortune Fairies were absolute garbage. They were all normal monsters, and it was a godsend for Carly that she got them upgraded into the Fortune Ladies, who are also conveniently getting support, which is awesome. I'm so happy I still have all my Fortune Ladies stuff. I love the Fortune Ladies. The Fortune Fairies, I'm kind of indifferent on in terms of, like, how much I like them and stuff. But depending on how they play, I might really like this. So, we got Fortune Fairy, and for some reason they don't put the name on here, but I think her name is Hikari. When you draw this card, you can reveal it, special summon it. Then if it is special in front of hand, you can target a monster you control, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon a level 1 spellcaster from your deck. This card is really good, and I think they're trying to, like, make it where Fortune Fairies and Fortune Ladies can work together so that they are essentially, basically the same thing. Because what's really nice with this is that since she's special summoning herself, you don't have to worry about, like, her getting banished off of Fortune Future Visions and stuff, which is pretty cool. And then, of course, you send another monster you control to the graveyard, or herself, which is really cool as well. And you can summon any level 1 spellcaster from your deck, which can, of course, include Fortune Lady, Light. I can't remember her name. The light one. So this is really, really cool. I'm glad that they're revamping them, actually giving them effects that benefit themselves, and also, of course, the Fortune Ladies. It'll be interesting seeing what they do with the rest of the deck as well. This card can also be used in other stuff too. Like you could use it in Relinquished to be able to get out like some of the level 1 stuff in that deck, and also you could use it in like anything that uses Mystic Piper, like for instance the Relinquished deck, because then you send her to the graveyard, spell summon Mystic Piper from deck, you tribute, draw, you don't even have to waste your normal summon on him. This is really, really good for level 1 decks. I'm happy. Then we got what I am most excited for. Vision Heroes are finally getting their main stuff. So, Vision Heroes, for those who don't know, and I know I've mentioned him before on his channel. I think he even did a anime deck discussion back in the day when I still did those. But Vision Heroes are like my second favorite hero archetype. You know, Destiny Heroes are my favorite hero archetype, and Vision Heroes, coincidentally, also played by Aster, but from the manga, is my second favorite. This deck is so cool with how they work, and I'm so happy that we are finally getting the main gimmick monsters, and I can't wait to see how else they're going to boost them, because I think they did a pretty good job at boosting Increase while also making him bounce, because Increase was the one that I was most worried about in terms of bringing to real life, because the card was busted in the manga. So, Vision Hero Increase, he's the level 3 Dark Warrior effect monster. Expect that for most of the Vision Heroes, okay? Most of the Vision Heroes that we are still missing are level 3 Dark Warriors. There's 2 that aren't, a level 4 called Gravito, and a level 5 called Grappler, I believe his name was. But most of them are level 3 Dark Warriors. He's got 900 attack, 1100 defense, and you can only use each of his effects once per turn. They're all hard once per turns. The first effect is, if you take damage, you can take this card from your graveyard and place it in your spell and trap card zone, face up as a continuous trap card. And then, during either player's main phase, while this card is treated as a continuous trap, you can tribute a hero monster, special summon this card. This right here is the main gimmick of the deck, and I love it how they boosted it, while also still making it to where it's balanced. In the manga, his effect was not once per turn to be able to do this, so you could loop them. And same thing with the other Vision Heroes who go in the back row. You could constantly loop them, which made this one trap card, I forgot what it's called, but it's like it's a trap card that says whenever a player's card is sent to the graveyard, inflict 300 damage to that player. So it lets you constantly loop it, and that was really stupid. But now that it's a once per turn effect, you don't have to worry about any stupid, insane loops like that, and also you don't have to worry about constant spamming, because again, they're all once per turns. I would presume the Multiply Guy, Poisoner, and Minimum Ray will also be once per turns as well for these 2 effects. So while yes, they did debuff them by making them once per turns, they buffed them by making them freaking quick effects. I love this. This is really, really cool. I can't wait to see the other 2, because basically, sorry, the other 3, because basically what Vision Heroes do is they have effects that happen on their special summon from the spell and trap card zone. And this is why I and a lot of other people consider Vision Heroes to be the better version of Crystal Beasts, because they do the same thing, kind of, but better. Because Crystal Beasts, once they're in the back row, they're just continuous spells. They don't have any effects. These guys do. So, what's his effect if he's summoned from the back row? Well, if he is summoned from the back row, you can spell summon any level 4 or lower Vision Hero from your deck. In the manga, it was any hero. So they balanced it out by making it any level 4 or lower Vision Hero. I really wish that they let it be any Vision Hero monster, because then we could summon Grappler, and then if they keep Grappler's effect from the manga, you could then send a Vision Hero from deck to graveyard. But no, can't keep that for the level 5 guy. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they do for these. I'm super, super excited. I can't wait. Waiting for this year's Battles of Legend is going to be a pain. Those who don't know, this is from the collection pack 19. They've been doing these like every year lately, and then we get them as Battles of Legend over here. I can't wait. I really can't wait. I kind of wish they would have kept it in black and white, like in the manga and stuff, you know, because black and white manga and everything. But I like the color scheme they are going for them. Oh god. Moving on. We got Fortune Vision. This is the Fortune Lady continuous spell card that they announced. Funnily enough, on Twitter. So Fortune Vision. Continuous spell card. You can only activate this card's name once per turn. A card with this card's name once per turn. When this card is activated, you can add a Fortune Lady card from your deck to your hand. I love it how I can add any Fortune Lady card. This is really good. Just right then and there. Gets you to your monsters. I don't believe any of the Fortune Lady spells or traps have Fortune Lady in the name. Because, like, Future Visions, Fortune Vision... I don't know. I want to check real quick because I know they got a draw card and I know they got a trap or two, but I can't remember if any of them have Fortune Lady in the name. Let's check real quick. Come on, load. One of their trap cards too is really good. Though kind of always been a bit held back. Let's see here. Fortune's Future, darn it. Time Passage, darn it. Inherited Fortune, darn it. Slip of Fortune, darn it. Okay, so none of... Oh, Bending Destiny, darn it. So yeah, none of their spells or traps have Fortune Lady in the name, but they did future-proof it with that, which I like. Dang it. None of their spells or traps have Fortune Lady in the name. I'm sure they're gonna like add. I hope at least they're gonna add like a card that does search out their spells and traps. Like maybe search out a spell or trap card that has Fortune Lady in the text or something. Second effect once per turn. If a card you control is banished by a card effect, by an effect. I don't know why they have to say it like that, but you can activate this effect during this turn. Monsters you control cannot be banished by effects. And then once per turn, if a card your opponent controls is banished by an effect, you can activate this effect once per turn. Once during this turn, you take no damage from battle. This is really cool, and I can't wait to see what people kind of tinker around with this. A lot of people have been looking at this card as a possible tech option for like Mech Knights and other decks that focus on heavily banishing cards they control, like Metaphys and such. Because then what you can do is, like for instance, with the banish effect, you can banish one of your own dudes. Like let's say your opponent activates Dark Hole. No, that wouldn't work because that disactivates in another chain because it's an activated effect. So like let's say you know your opponent has a Dark Hole in their hand, like let's say they added it off a duality or something. You chain Mech Knight Purple Nightfall, target himself, banish him, search, effect of Fortune Vision, make it to where your monsters cannot be destroyed by card effects. That really screwed him over, and then all you gotta do is keep doing that every single turn. And then you can preemptively do it for like if you know that like you're doing against a trap heavy deck like Altergeist or something and they have like Torrential Tribute or something, you just preemptively banish your Purple Nightfall and then you don't have to worry about Torrential Tribute. Now granted, a smart player will have a bunch of other stuff you gotta worry about in the back row, but still, that's really cool. Then, of course, you can also reduce damage to 0 once a battle through the third effect, technically. But you gotta banish an opponent's card to do that, and that's not as easy to do. Although you can do it with stuff like Metaphys Daedalus, BLS, so on and so forth. Yeah, it only lasts until the end of the turn. Most of the time, you're going to be banishing your opponent's stuff during your turn. So, I don't know. And I love the artwork. I love how it's got, like, card versions of all the Fortune Ladies in, like, this weird... I don't even know what kind of Cthulian nightmare space that is, but Okay, moving on. We got Battlewasps from Collector's Pack as well. Battlewasps were played by the Crow wannabe from Arc V. That's all I can really say. Battlewasps, they're basically insect Blackwings. They play very similar to Blackwings, like to a T, except they're a bit more defense focused. Or at least in the anime they were. And I was very concerned with them ever printing them because honestly the anime versions were just so bad, and Arc V, during the Arc V era, they were really good about pretty much printing anime cards as was from the anime in real life. So, thankfully though, they buffed them because the deck needed it so bad. So we got Battlewasp Arbalest, the Rapid Fire. That's this guy here. He's like the first one that you ever saw in the anime and everything. I love how he's got like that kind of like... look in his eye. I forget what it's called. It's kind of like a sly look. Like, I don't know. You know, he's got like kind of like a half wink, but oh well. Really cool attention to detail on him. So he's a level 4 wind insect effect monster, 1800 attack, 800 defense. When it's normal summon, you can target a level 3 or lower insect monster in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position. If this card is destroyed by your opponent's card, you can special summon one Battlewasp from your hand or deck. If you don't know, in the anime, he only had this effect, and he could only summon another copy of himself from your hand. That was basically what it did. If I remember fully, let me just double check real quick. God, they might be going by their Japanese name on here. Oh no, cool. Arbalest, if this card is destroyed by, you can special summon one. Yeah, I knew it. You can only summon another copy of himself from the hand. It was so bad. Oh god, they buffed him so much from the anime. So he's basically what is his name? The dude, the Blackwing tuner who can whenever he's a normal summons a level 4 or lower dude from your graveyard. So he's basically that, and then he can also summon any Battlewasp if he's destroyed. I love this. They buffed him so much. I hope they buffed the rest of the deck because god, they need it. Then we got Summoning Swarm, which it's a normal spell card. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. You cannot spell summon monsters from the extract the turn you activate this, except insect monsters, which, I mean, isn't like the worst thing in the world. We actually do have a semi-decent insect link monster, so that's not like the worst thing in the world. Target level 4 or lower Battlewasp monsters in your graveyard up to the number of monsters your opponent controls. Special summon them. This is basically a Battlewasp Soul Charge, and I love it. This card's really good. If I remember right, in the anime, it was basically the same thing, but had no restrictions on it. So it's not like the worst thing in the world, adding those restrictions on it. Pretty good card overall. And then we got Battlewasp Hama the Conquering Bow. He's a level 8 Wind Insect Synchro Effect monster, 2800 attack, 2k defense, needs a tuner and a non-tuner. I love this how he's super generic, so we could technically summon him in just about anything. He has 3 effects. If this card was Synchro Summoned using a Synchro monster as material, this card can make a second attack during each battle phase. Really good card there. This whole deck, darn it, I closed out of Devpro. But basically, Battlewasp like to sync up using other Synchros. That's their whole thing. And then when he inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can have all of your opponent's monsters lose 1,000 attack and defense. So it really goes hand in hand with that first effect. Then at the end of your battle phase, if your opponent did not take battle damage during the battle phase, you can inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each Battlewasp in your graveyard. Another really interesting thing with Battlewasps, because again, keep in mind they're bees. They're bees. I don't know why they call them wasps when they're bees, obviously. Basically, the burn damage, a lot of them have just random tiny amounts of burn damage, and that's supposed to represent like, oh, getting stung by a swarm of bees. So really interesting cards here. I can't wait to see the rest of the archetype. I'm hoping it's good. The deck was painful to even attempt to play with the anime versions of the cards, so hopefully they're really good here. Moving on, we got a new Senju card, and actually also this trap card alludes to another Senju, because this guy, from what I know of, has not appeared in any other Senju cards. So this will be interesting. So basically, it's Senju Weasel Blade Wind. If you control no monsters, you can show your opponent up to 2 Senju monsters of different names from your hand, and target an equal number of face-up cards your opponent controls, return those cards to hand. This is just overall a really good stun card for getting rid of your opponent's extract monsters and stuff, and keeping your opponent at your pace. Really good card overall. This is coming out in Rising Rampage too. This is not like in the other pack or anything, so it'll be interesting to see how much Senju support they get, and if they choose to focus more on the Beast Warrior aspect than the Pendulum aspect, because I think it's kind of without saying, but the Pendulum aspect really was the worst part of it, which I really hate too, because Daibok is such a powerful boss monster, and is a really scary beast to deal with. So I'm hoping they don't completely give up on the Pendulum aspect of the deck. Maybe make it a bit more consistent and stuff. Maybe give us a way to search out the continuous spell card a bit easier. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what we get. Next up, we got another Salamangreat card. I know a lot of you probably just groaned, but I'm kind of excited. So we got Rising Fire. It's a... yeah, Rising Fire. It's always treated as a Salamangreat card. If you control no monsters, activate this card by targeting a fire monster in your graveyard. Special summon that monster, and if you do, equip this card to it. It gains 500 attack, and when this card leaves the field, destroy that monster. If this card is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can banish one monster on the field. So the really cool thing is that this card can summon any fire monster, and then if this leaves the field, it destroys the monster. So while Salamangreats might not use it too much, you could use this in, like, I don't know, Fire Kings or Nephthys or heck, any other fire deck. I do see this being played in, I can totally see this being played, I should say, in Salmon Greats as at least a 1 of, maybe a 2 of. Right now, it's not really super searchable because your main way of searching their spells and traps, you can only search out normal spells and traps, but however, I can see this being used. It's a really good, just premature burial. It's a comeback card. Maybe as a 1 or 2 of, I can totally see, but I don't really see it much more than that. Moving on, we got a new dinosaur card, Beat Raptor. Sorry if I'm trying to like speed this up. We're at 20 minutes already. Holy crap. Beat Raptor is a level 4 Earth dinosaur effect monster. He's 1400 attack, 2k defense. While he's in the main monster zone, negate the effects of all monsters in the extra monster zone. And when this card is destroyed by battle, you can spell summon another copy from your deck. So I've seen people kind of mocking this card, which, by the way, let me just say, I love the artwork, and I love it how you can see one up here, and then another one back here, and then another one back here representing the 3 copies of them. Just really, really subtle attention to detail there. I love that. That's really cool. But in all seriousness, though, I've seen a lot of people kind of mocking this card, calling it bad, like, oh, its stats are weak, oh, who cares, I can just summon any Link 2 or whatever and punch over it. Keep in mind, this is a dinosaur, okay? Dinosaurs have like a bunch of different ways to protect their monsters, okay? Imagine staring this down while your opponent has a Ultimate Conductor Tyranno and an Overtext Coatulus out, and then has a freaking Miscellaneousaurus in their hand, so that even if you try to, like, I don't know, Dark Hold him or something, they'll just discard the Miscellaneousaurus. And then, oh, if you do happen to somehow kill it in battle, here comes another one. This card is annoying as hell, I can already tell, and I can totally see a control version of dinosaurs being made, and I don't know if it'll do well, but it'll be interesting for sure. Next up, we got the Marincess. This deck, a lot of people have been hyping up, and I don't really see it right now. I'm sure I'll see it once we get more stuff. This is apparently Blue Angel's new archetype that she ditched Trickstars for, and as of right now, I think she's a bit of an idiot for doing it, but I don't know. That being said, I do really love the artwork on these cards. They're adorable to keep with the idol theme, while also bringing in the Cyberse aspect, which I don't really see these as Cyberse. I don't see the Cyberse part of it. All that being said, I gotta say, I have not been keeping up with Reigns at all. I've only seen like 2 episodes after the first duel against I think I've seen like up to episode 14ish. I need to catch up, I know, but it's a long way, and I am super busy. I gotta binge watch it one of these days. So. We got Marincess Seahorse. She's a level 3 water Cyberse effect monster, 1400 attack, 1k defense. You can only use each of this card's name once per turn, and only once that turn. Oh wait, sorry. Yeah, this card can only be special summoned with its name the way it is written. But yeah, basically you can only use it once per turn. You can special summon this card from your hand to a zone of Marincess monster you control points to. During your main phase, except during the turn this card was sent to the graveyard. You can banish this card from the graveyard, special summon a water monster from your hand to a monster zone a Marincess monster you control points to. It's a good card overall. I kind of wish it could summon from hand or deck, but I digress. Then we got Marincess Sea Star, who, oh no, it's a level 2 water. That means totally awesome. Oh god, I'm not looking forward to Totally Awesome being relevant again, but that's just me. Marincess Sea Star, she's a level 2 water Cyberse effect monster, and I gotta say, this card out of all of them so far is the worst. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. Oh, by the way, you can use it up to twice per turn. From your hand to the graveyard and target a Marincess monster you control. It gains 800 attack until the end of the turn. Big whoop. You can up to discarding. You can discard up to 2 copies of it to boost up a monster by 1600 total. Congratulations, you neg 2 for 1600 damage. Okay, now granted, every single Link monster says add a Marincess from grave to hand, so I can see how that can be useful, but at the same time, I'm not seeing much of a reason to play this right now other than for it being another name. I'm not a big fan right now. This deck has not hooked me. Though I gotta say the artwork is adorable. Next up, we got the first link, Link 1, Marincess Sea Slug. It's a Link 1 Water Cyberse Effect monster, 1500 attack, points bottom. Level 4 or lower Marincess monster is its arrows. You can only link summon a Marincess Blue Slug once per turn. I believe all of them have that. No, just her. Okay. If this card is linked to summon, you can target a Marincess monster in your graveyard, except a copy of herself. Add it to your hand, but you cannot spell summon monsters for the rest of this turn, except water monsters. Okay, so there's the part that all of them have, basically. They all have a different way of adding a Marincess from your graveyard to your hand, and during the turn you do that, you cannot summon monsters except for waters, which is, I guess, fair and balanced, other than the fact that they can still summon totally awesome, but Moving on, we got Marincess Coral Anemone. Anemone. Jesus, that name. I cannot say anemone. Oh, God. So she needs 2 water monsters, points left and bottom. A bit more generic, which is pretty cool. You can only use each of her effect once per turn. Once per turn, you can target a water monster 1500 or less attack in your graveyard. Spell summon it to your zone this card points to. Also, you cannot spell summon monsters for the rest of this turn except water monsters. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target a Marincess card in your graveyard, except a copy of herself, add it to your hand. I love how I can add any Marincess, so you can even add like your spells and traps, which is pretty cool as well. Which is, again, pretty cool. Something that just dawned on me is that depending on how much attack the main deck monsters will all have, salvage is going to be a godsend for this deck. Then we got the Link 3, which also apparently there's a Link 4 that's supposed to be super broken from the anime, but they haven't announced a Link 4 yet. So right now we only got the Link 3 to work off of as well. And this is Marincess Marbled Rock. Link 3 Water Cyberse Effect monster has good old Gaia Sabers link arrows left, right, and bottom. So not like the greatest link arrows in the world. Her effect, oh yeah, she needs 2 or more water monsters to go into. And her effects are, her first effect is a hard once per turn. And then she has 2 effects. You can target 1 Marincess card in your graveyard, except a copy of herself, add it to your hand. Second effect, when an opponent's monster clears an attack, you can send 1 Marincess monster from your hand to the graveyard. Monsters cannot be destroyed by that battle. Also, you take no battle damage from that battle. So she's basically a walking Waboku at the cost of discarding a Marincess. So yeah, again, not like the worst thing in the world, but considering how the deck does like to add its cards back to its hand, I can see it kind of working. And then here's the part that I think people are really flipping out about, and that's the trap cards. These trap cards, if you control a Link 3 or higher Marincess monster, you can activate them from your hand. And if all of them have that effect, this deck could get very, very stupid, let's say. So we got the first one, Marincess Wave, which has some pretty cool artwork in my opinion. Actually, I like all these artwork in all honesty. If you control a Link 3 or higher Marincess, again, you can activate this card from your hand. If you control, it's a factual effect. If you control a Marincess Link monster, which you kind of gotta have to for the first effect, target a face-up monster opponent controls, negate that monster's effects until its turn. In addition, if you control a Link 2 or higher Marincess monster, all face-up monsters you control become unaffected by your opponent's card effects until the end of this turn. So again, it's really helping, it's really encouraging you to link climb and gives you benefits for doing so, which is pretty cool. And then we got Marincess Current. You can only activate 1 card of discard's name per turn, which I believe... the first card does not have it, so this card is actually not a once per turn card. That's kind of stupid. But Current is once per turn. If you control a Link 3 or higher Marincess monster, you can activate this card from your hand. When a Marincess Link monster you control destroys an opponent's monster at battle, inflict damage to your opponent equal to 400 times that monster's Link rating that you control. In addition, if you control a Link 2 or higher Marincess monster, and that opponent's monster that was destroyed was a Link monster, inflict damage equal to your opponent equal to that monster's Link rating times 500. So you can dish out a lot of damage with it. Again, I'm not super excited about any of these cards in particular. I gotta see more of the archetype to be able to, because right now it's just kind of meh to me. I won't lie though, the fact that this deck is going to be able to make totally awesome, in addition to being able to have hand traps, like literal hand traps, it just scares me. Moving on, we got a new Witchcraft monster, which people are jokingly calling the best Witchcraft card in the deck, and it's not just because she's a hot waifu. She literally is the best card in the deck right now. Witchcraft Golem Arls, level 8 light spellcaster effect monster, attack 2000, defense 0. When a spellcaster monster you control is targeted by an opponent's card effect or targeted for an attack by an opponent's card, while this card is in your hand, quick effect, you can target either card your opponent controls or one Witchcraft spell card in your graveyard. Spell summon this card, and if you do, return the targeted card to the hand. So it gets you back your spell card or bounces an opponent's monster, and then once per turn during your opponent's standby phase, return this card to the hand. Really good. That's all I gotta say. I haven't had much experience with Witchcraft. At first I thought that they were half bad, and then I read that, oh, the spell cards add themselves back at during your opponent's end phase. Or something like that. And the deck is in dire need of more support. The final cards. We got Rescue Interlacer. Kind of looks like RC from Transformers, in my opinion. Is that just me? If yours, it's got 1000 attack, 1200 defense. It's a light Cyberus. If your Cyberus is attacked during damage calculation, you discard this card, take no damage from that battle, and then during the end phase, if this card was in the graveyard because you discarded it to use its first effect, spell summon this card. It's okay. I'm not a big fan. Then we got Krusty Bugger, and don't go and assume that this thing's anywhere near as good as Lady Debug, because it's not. Horrible stats. It's a level 2 Dark Cyberus, 900 attack, 600 defense. While you control 2 or more Link monsters, you can activate this effect, spell summon this card from your hand. That's a hard once per turn, by the way. And then if your Link monster battles an opponent's Link monster during damage calc, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Target a Link monster in your graveyard until the end of your turn. Your battling monster gains attack equal to the target monster's attack, and if it does, it also cannot be destroyed by that battle. Yeah, this card's basically like a graveyard honest for the deck, and it's not particularly great. There's a bunch of other ways to get more Cyberus on the field, similar to its first effect without actually having to have multiple Link monsters already on the field. Yeah, I'm disappointed. Then we got DMZ Dragon, Devil May Zombie Dragon? I don't know. Dinosaur Mad Zombie Dragon. There we go. Because this thing looks like a dinosaur. They just kind of missed out on being able to call it DMC Dragon. And I don't know, get a little bit of cross promotion with Devil May Cry that just came out. So it's got 0 attack, it's a Dark Dragon, effect monsters, 2k defense. Once per turn, you can target a level 4 or lower dragon monster in your graveyard, and one dragon monster you control. Equip that monster to your in your graveyard to that monster in the field as an equipped spell. Of this effect, the equipped monster gains 500 attack. If your monster, if an equipped card attacks at the end of damage step, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Destroy as many equipped cards to your monster that attacked as possible, and if you do, it can attack again. This card's just kind of okay. I see this more so being used with Borreload Savage Dragon, as Savage Dragon has an way of equipping an equipped card so you can attack, maybe negate something here and there, and then after he attacks, banish DMZ to be able to attack again. Yeah, this thing is definitely not pulling any double triggers. Anyways, moving on, we got Borreload X-Charge Dragon, a cover card of the deck, the cover card of the set, which is surprising, because you would think that this would be the Pendulum set, but there's been no Pendulums. So I guess we're just not going to see Pendulums at all in frames, which wouldn't surprise me at all. So, Borreload X-Charge Dragon, he's a rank 4 Dark Dragon, as you can see, he's a effect monster, 3k attack, 2500 defense, 2 level 4 Dark Dragon monsters. This Xyz summon card cannot be targeted by the effects of other monsters. Once per turn, you can detach one Xyz material from this card and target a face-up monster in the field. For the rest of this turn, you cannot spell summon monsters, and your monsters cannot attack directly. Also, the target monster loses 600 attack, then you can spell summon a Borrel from your graveyard, but it is banished during your end phase. This card's just okay. It really is. I can see it being played as a one-of in good old Rockets, but their extra deck is tight as it is, especially with the the Guard Dragons and stuff. So I don't really know how many copies you'll play, if you'll play at all. He seems more like a comeback card to be able to try and bring back your Boral Sword Dragon after you got like Mirror Force or something, and then go for game. But other than that, I'm not a particularly big fan. He doesn't do anything for the Rocket deck other than just bringing back Boral monsters and then banishes it during the end phase. You got Link back. It literally just basically moves the Link monster from your extra monster zone to any of your main monster zones that link monster points to. I can see it being used in certain situations. It's a bit gimmicky though, because you don't really get anything. Oh yeah, I forgot. Diddy can send cards from the top of your deck equal to its link rating. So it's actually... I forgot all about that. So yeah, it's actually not half bad. You move your link monster from the extra monster zone to the main monster zone, and you can send stuff from your deck to the graveyard equal to its link rating. I can see this being used in particular decks, like for instance like zombies and stuff like that. Like for instance with like Shiranui and heck, zombies in general. You could make your Vampire Sorcerer, not Vampire, Vampire Sucker, get your free draw, link away her for the Shiranui link, and then use this card on the Shiranui link, bring it down to the bottom zone that it points to, then send 3 cards from deck to graveyard, and hopefully be able to plus off of that even more so, because now you have 2 extra monster zones that you can make use of. So I can see this being used in very certain decks. It's really cool. Grid Rod, equip only to a Cyberse you control. Equip monster against 300 attack. It's unaffected by your opponent's card effects. And the first time it may be destroyed by battle each turn. It is not. If this face-up card on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can activate its effect. Cyberse monsters you currently control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects for the rest of this turn. It's just okay. I don't really see it being played. Then we got Draw Discharge, which I find the artwork hilarious because this guy looks like he's a Yusaku imposter, and it's kind of funny. I can't tell what cards are in the background. I really wish I could tell, but oh well. Normal trap card: when your opponent activates a card or card spider, draws a card or card spider card effect, your opponent reveals all those cards, and if they reveal a monster card, inflict damage to your opponent equal to their total attack power, then banish all their revealed cards. This might become very, very dangerous. This card is really, really silly, and I can see this being very heavily used in certain formats. Can you imagine, like, using this against freaking Sky Striker and banishing their freaking what's-her-face Ray, and then doing 1500 damage to them? That's really silly. And then even if you don't, you could possibly banish a hand trap. This card is really good, and I could see it being used as a side card in certain formats against certain decks. So, unless they updated it in the past almost 40 minutes, that's everything from VJUMP right now. I'll do another video updating anything that's interesting. What are you guys' thoughts on these new cards? What do you hope to see from Vision Heroes, Marincesses, and Battlewasps? As well as also, of course, the other stuff. And holy crap, it just dawned on me, but the Fortune Lady stuff is in Rising Rampage. So what do you guys think? Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. See y'all later. Peace out.